Good evening, my name is Patricia Butaki, and I'm currently the Vice President of the Haltom High School Student Council. Student Council is a program designed to help guide and create young ambassadors that shape and inspire those who look upon them. The students chosen to participate in Student Council demonstrate active leadership skills such as innovation, empathy, and creativity. With these skills, we are known as the leaders of the school and set an example for the remainder of the student body. We provide assistance in student affairs and activities, creating an ever-changing model of student involvement. We as a group, as well as individuals, try and enhance our community and those neighboring us. Student Council has made an impact on our local community by participating in the following events. Christmas Providers, where we adopted a Haltom family and provided Christmas gifts and granted joy to the children who may not have received something special. We are also donors and providers by hosting blood drives twice a year, and we gather donations for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, as well as the Susan J. Common and the Prostate Cancer Foundation. In the past 4 years, we've also participated in Blankets of Hope, in which we donated over 500 blankets to homeless shelters. As a student council, we feel appreciated to be able to participate in these projects and further engage with our community and host this forum tonight. A simple reminder that early voting begins April 25th and ends May 3rd. Voting day is May 7th. There will be 2 voting locations. The polling places are Haltom City Senior Center and the Haltom City Public Library.
All right, welcome citizens of Haltom City. My name is Amy Trong and I'm the treasurer of Haltom High School Students Council. Haltom High School Student Council is a nonpartisan organization, and we are privileged to have the opportunity to host the forum this evening. All candidates were invited to attend, and joining us this evening are the following candidates. In place 3, we have Lynn Thompson and Anna Maria DeYoung. In place 4, we have Eric Morris and Charlie Roberts. In place 5, we have Susan Soul and Willis Odell. In place 6, we have Kyle Smith and Nicole Naylor. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. And if you would like to ask the candidate any questions, there are Chromebooks in the lobby for you to type them out. The candidate will then have 90 seconds to answer. Our timekeepers are Trinity Phillips and Savannah Gray in front. The yellow card signifies 30 seconds left, and the red card means your time is up. All right, candidates. We will begin your 2-minute opening statements and start with place 3 with Lynn Thompson.
Here you go. First of all, I would like to thank the Student Council for taking time out of their busy schedules and their activities to be here and to support our community, that one day they'll be sitting in our places serving you. So I think this is a great opportunity, and I wish you well. As far as the community and who I see here, I would like to say welcome and thank you for coming tonight. I myself and my husband have resided in Texas since '86, and I would be proud to tell you I've lived longer in this state than my original state. So I feel like somewhat of a Texan, okay? But I want you to know one of the important things that I learned as a child that was instilled. If you see that there are things that you're conflicted about or you're not really happy about, don't complain, go out and do something. So that is why I serve on council. I want to help improve our community. From those that come before me, they have done the best that they could do in their circumstances. And so I hope to build on that and to improve our city and to improve the community in which others may work. So thank you for coming tonight, and I hope that we will be able to answer the questions that you have.
I'm Ana Maria Aguilar DeYoung, and I know you won't remember the whole name. That's okay, Ana Maria. Some call me Ana, which is my husband, but I wanted to thank you and everybody else for allowing me to be here. It's a great honor. It's my first time, and I really want to give a big shout out to my husband, because he's the one that first taught me about voting, about how the impact that it has on a day-to-day life and how it is very important. So with that started, my trail. And so I was a non-voter for many, many years, grew up, and I actually was born in Mexico, in Durango, Mexico, and came here when I was 7. And as I came here, we had many obstacles, but, you know, very faith-based. God was the one that pushed me through everything. You name it, I pretty much, was it? Oh, sorry. I thought it went away. But I pretty much dealt with, you know, high crime in our neighborhood, anything that you can, that you, on a day-to-day life with neighbors and just ongoing issues and concerns and everything. And it is important to be vocal and active out and start your seed in growing something. It doesn't, I was telling one of the girls, it doesn't have to be big, it could be small, as just loving a neighbor and getting to know one another, pretty much. And that's why I'm here, is to support city growth and serve the citizens.
Hi, I'm Eric Morris. I'm running for place 4. I'm a lifelong resident of Haltom City. And to start off, I just want to discuss what got me involved in the first place, because as you can tell, I'm quite a bit young. One of the things that got me involved, in 2018, I decided to sign up to join a border committee on the city website. I didn't get a response at that time, so in 2020, I decided, you know what, let me go for the real thing and actually just run for it. And, I lost at that time, but I was very, very close to the runoff, and I was really motivated to be more engaged in this community in my city, and I loved the things that was going on in the city, so I decided to run again this year, and that's why I'm running, and I'm very, very thankful to be here today, and I'm very fortunate to be here. It's really a privilege, and it's a privilege to get to run. I've served this community for many years. Ever since I was in this very school, I've been a volunteer in this city. I used to go out every weekend with some organizations I was a member of, and we would clean up the stadium next to Shannon High School. And I've been serving the community to this very day, and that's why I'm here.
Hey, thanks to Co for hosting this, and thanks to ASD staff for assisting this. We appreciate that. My name is Charlie Roberts. I am currently City Council Place 4, running for re-election. What got me involved in wanting to run for City Council is to be a part of the decision-making process. Sometimes we can sit around and complain, or we can get up and try to make a difference, and that's what we've tried to do. My biggest goal would be to try to get communication and citizen involvement. A lot of people don't take advantage of the privilege that we in the United States have of voting, of being able to have a voice and make a difference. And believe it or not, local elections affect our day-to-day lives, in my opinion, more than national elections do. Local elections affect the streets you drive on, the buildings that are around you, the way your neighborhood looks. All of that is done at the local level. So I encourage all citizens to have communication with each other, have communication with your neighbors, have communication with your elected representatives. No matter the outcome of this election, be involved. We need to hear from you to represent you correctly. I lived in Haltom City for 30-something years. I've been here for a while. All 3 of my children graduated from this very high school also. And I'd like to thank my support, my wife, my 2 daughters, my grandkids who are here with me. Thank you all very much. And all the other supporters that we have out there. We talk to a lot of citizens. And I would just encourage you, just get involved, stay involved, pay attention to what's going on. Every citizen has a talent. When we're elected onto the city council, we don't know everything. We don't come from a background of finance and things. So if you have a talent that you can contribute, reach out to your city council person with that talent. Say, hey, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be a council person. I don't want to talk in front of anybody. But here's some things you might want to consider, or here's some data that might help you. So just get out and vote. Thank you very much.
I'm going to test this because I hadn't done that yet. Hi, I also want to thank the student council. You look very professional, by the way, for putting this on for all of us and allowing the citizens to lead us. My name is Susan Soul. I am currently on the city council in place 5 and been appointed the deputy mayor pro tem. I have been on council since 2019, so this is my third year. I hope to serve a complete three-year term for me, which would be 5 years because I finished a term that someone else left. My background was in Department of Defense. I actually deployed twice to the Middle East to administer contracts for base services for our soldiers that were serving over there. What I want for this city is to dress it up, to make it better for our citizens. I want to bring in businesses for our citizens. I want to bring in the right kind of businesses so that our city can receive sales tax and put it back into our city. I ran on beautification. My slogan was and is, hop on the Soul Train and let's beautify Haltom City. So I hope, thank you very much for coming out today, and I hope that you will vote for us. Just go vote, and please vote yes for the City Hall and the charter amendments. Thank you.
Good evening. Kyle Smith, I'm currently serving on place 6. This is my first term. Got to run the first time with this against Susan by myself, just me and a kid in a red truck, and we got involved in the same situation. Just wanted to volunteer and got put on P&Z and went through ZBA and figured, you know what, I do a lot of talking, I better put my money where my mouth is. Appreciate the student council for putting this on. Heard a couple of y'all are going into political science, possibly at UT Austin. Notre Dame's a good school too, wink wink, so don't forget that. Give you guys some background. My background is in early church history and theology. I presently work for City of Arlington, construction management and inspections. A lot of people say they come up here and they say who they want to thank. I thank my girls who know they're not here. My daughter's either up to bat right now or throwing the ball from third base. So I love this town. I have lived here also more of my life than where I was from Central Illinois, from a smaller farm town. This city had the propensity to be great. There were good people in it. People had big hearts, and it was untapped potential, and I started seeing the potential tapped more. And one thing to remember when you're civically minded is that you're not always going to agree with everyone on the dais that you serve with all the time. But the beautiful thing about this country, and everybody says that, is that we can agree to disagree. And if one thing that I want to continue is continue to make us better. Not just good, better. Better than what we are. We have it in us to be better. And if one thing I would just say to the kids, not preaching, never lose the propensity to be able to talk one-on-one, face-to-face with somebody, because you can achieve so much from that one-on-one contact with someone, especially a voter and a fellow resident. So I thank you all for being here, and I'll quit talking. So thanks.
We're going to start. I'm here with Ms. Lynn Thompson, and our first question goes to all the candidates, and it's, do you support the bond? You have 90 seconds to answer.
Yes, I definitely support the bond. I think that our city and our community deserves to be shown to the outside world that we are better. We're not recognized for the things in our surrounding cities and communities as much as I think we should be. But I think more importantly, the bond represents better working conditions. We've got to surround ourselves with technology. We've got to be able to update the buildings and to be able to function within our daily work effort within different departments. We've got to have room to do our work. We need to be able to have areas that we can meet in and to talk with professionals as that happens. But more than that, I think that it brings pride and loyalty to our city. And I believe everyone in our community deserves that recognition. So yes, the bond is essential and very important.
I really, of course, I support the bond. I support growth. I support future growth in anything that the city does. And I went to actually visit the city hall, and a manager, City Rex, gave me a little tour. It didn't take long, but a couple minutes. And I was just kind of shocked of the things that I saw with the jailhouse being storage, and just little things that I came from a big city of 230,000 population, and I never thought that I would see that in my entire life. But yes, definitely we have to support our staff and make it a priority for them to have all the tools and resources for them to be able to do their work. I would not be able to, I don't know how they have done it with so many years with very closed walls, but I support it all the way.
Yes, I absolutely support the bond for a new city hall. And what you have to understand about a city hall is, it is the face of the city. It is where, in my opinion, everything starts. All development starts in City Hall. But one thing that I think is not mentioned enough about it, okay? Everybody agrees that you need a city hall. Everybody agrees that a city facility eventually has to be replaced. So then the only question we're asking ourselves is, when is that time? And you have to be careful the way you answer it, because if you decide to say, let's wait 5 years from now, hey, that's great, that's an appropriate response, but guess what? You just cost the taxpayer $17 million for that answer. So that's what the real question is here. It's not, should we get a new city hall? It's when. And the longer we wait, the more it will cost you. So, yeah, absolutely, I support the city hall. Please vote yes for the new city hall for the bond. Thank you.
I will be the only one up here who does not support the bond for the new city hall, and I would suggest vote no to that. But for these reasons, I don't doubt that we need to upgrade the city hall. Something needs to happen with it. The city hall is not utilized by the citizens near as much as so many other parts of our community are. The streets you drive on are pretty bad. That money could be used perhaps to entice other businesses to come in for revitalization. We don't necessarily need a castle to rule from for the valley. The valley needs to be taken care of first and then build a castle. Okay? In this day and time, there is so much work that's done from home. There's so many other facilities in Haltom City that the city owns. Perhaps they could split up the staff if they feel cramped. If I didn't take care of my house, it could look as bad as City Hall too. But sometimes you have to do maintenance, sometimes you have to do upgrades to things. And I don't agree with the way that, like, I don't run my household where I just max out debt. There was no estimate on building a building. There was no estimate on refurbishing. There was just finance people saying, hey, we've got $25 million available without raising taxes, so let's just max it out. We don't do our household like that. We shouldn't do our city like that. And I don't like that you're not being told that if you don't approve the city hall, your tax rate will go down. I think that that is information that everybody should be known, that should be told up front. Make a fully informed decision. Thank you. You don't like that?
I am absolutely for a new city hall. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when a business comes to visit you and determine whether they want to have a business in your city, you're actually in an audition. The city hall that we have is an embarrassment. It is not suitable for the employees that it houses. And it is certainly, it's like going to an interview in a faded t-shirt and jeans with holes in them. We are not presenting our city well to potential businesses or residents, but especially businesses that want, the businesses that we want to come to our city. When they come in and see where we house our employees and see what it's a reflection of what we think of our city as a whole. So yes, please vote yes for this new city hall. It's much needed, and it's been needed for years. It was built in 1957. It is antiquated. The technology is outdated. I challenge you to come and go on a tour of the city hall. Anybody. I'll meet you there, and we'll have the city manager go walk us through it. Please, come see it before you make your decision. Thank you.
Yes, I support the bond. Ultimately, it goes to the voters. Y'all decide. That's why we put it to y'all. We didn't make the decision. It's going to be the voters ultimately that do that. Now, when we talk about debt falling off, yes, we have that ability to have that debt falling off. And within that, you're in a conundrum. Strike while the iron's hot, while we know what we can do now. Or where does it put us if we do ask the question 5 years from now? How do we do it? How do we pay for it? Now, yeah, there'll be a small tax break for people. $150,000 house, if your value's at $7.50 a year, if that debt falls off, $15 a year on a $300,000 house. So it's Artman's edge here. It's like a razor. Nobody ever said these decisions would be easy. But yes, I support it. I hope you vote for it. Our people deserve it. It also helps with the community. No matter what anybody says, I challenge you to walk the corridors, get lost, because the first time I was ever in there, my head was spinning, because I'm like, where am I? And, but ultimately it comes to you guys. People in the audience are the voters. So I hope you will support it.
Our next question is also to all the candidates. How do you think you can contribute to bringing more opportunities for local high school students, such as internships and scholarships? And we will be starting with Ms. Anna Marie Reed.
I'm sorry, you caught me off guard. Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. How do you think you can contribute to bringing more opportunities for local high school students, such as internships, scholarships, and etc.?
Bringing it to you guys, the scholarships, is that what you're saying?
It says for just local students and just internship, scholarship, and I guess more opportunities to expand just like what the students can do while in high school.
Oh, okay. Well, I've actually passed my card already and I have a big list. Opportunities of actually working as an intern at the Joseph Storehouse. That's where I'm volunteering right now. And so it's actually a store with food that feed people and the most in need, and just it's run by volunteers. So it's good experience if you want to do multitasking, administrative work. There's a boundless of things to do there, where you can be cashier, you can learn how to run a business. A variety of things that I have is more beautification in the Haltom area as well, and knowing voter awareness, to bring out voter awareness, which is a big topic that we need to talk about. But yes, like I said, I can go on and on with the list that I have, but there are various opportunities for scholarships out there and internships.
I've actually been talking with a school board member about this topic. Our senior center needs a lot of volunteers. So one of the things that I would like to get done, the goal is to hopefully get this done before the next school year during the summer. It'll be a project during the summer. I'd like if our city could provide kind of like a form that we give to some of these students who volunteer in our senior center, where it says, hey, you've contributed on this date this number of hours, turn it into your program, like NHS, or I think also the Collegiate Academy also has a volunteer hour requirement, where you can turn that form into your program and get verified volunteer hours for it. And hopefully, if they contribute a lot to our senior center or other community volunteer events, then maybe we could provide them with a letter of recommendation or a reference for a job or a scholarship. So yeah, that is actually something I've been talking with the school board member about, and I'm hoping we can get that done before the next school year. But yeah, absolutely, I'm fully on board with that, and I think we've got multiple opportunities to make that happen, definitely.
So I'm not familiar with that specifically, but I think the BISD already has a program, something like that, where that's done at the school level, not at the city level. I think something that could happen, I don't know that the city itself can be involved in internships and things like that unless it's specifically with the city. But what the school could do is to bring back the work programs, like the ICT program I went through in high school, where you got high school credits for working half a day. And they had different types of jobs that you could go to, daycare, learning facilities, mine was industrial type things. And instead of having electives, that was your elective. So those are the types of things that possibly should be done at the school district level. I don't know if it's a city issue for that.
I think I may have misunderstood the question, because I thought I understood you to ask about scholarships. Is that, and how you could get more scholarships for your school? Is that what I heard you ask?
Good question. Includes both internships and scholarships.
Internships as well, okay. All right, thank you. I don't have a lot of knowledge on this. My youngest child is 36 years old. So it's been a while since I had anything to do with any knowledge of that. But I do know that there are scholarships, or actually where they can get their college paid for through SAMS, and internships through Google, and places like that. My daughter has a clinic, and they have an internship program there as well, and I would be happy to give you the information on that. So I apologize for not being a wealth of knowledge on this subject, but I think it's a great question for you to ask, and it has gotten me thinking, so maybe I'll go look that up for you. Thanks.
I have a 12-year-old, so I'm gonna have to be up to snuff on this topic. So, I know Haltom High School already has that. I'm pretty sure people that I know that are friends of mine, like Troy Dunn, that owns Troy Dunn Insurance, they come in and give you guys real world application as far as like doing books for business and things like that. I know that you guys have national, pretty sure if you guys are in student council, you've got National Honor Society. My daughter gets inducted in the National Junior next week. She's also, Girl Scouts, but the opportunities, maybe if you're looking for that, we can explore. So we got Haltom High School and BISD Richland. Maybe we could get together and work on pilot programs for you guys that are more civically minded. Okay? And say, we talked to Rex and the mayor one day and say, can we bring you guys in and mirror them and see the day-to-day in and outs of how the city government works? Give you guys that opportunity. Because with that, that'll open your mind even more, say, before you go to college. So different things of that. Now, as far as scholarship opportunities, you guys know, there's a plethora of them. So I don't know how to get your scholarships. I know you guys are. Just trust me, I'm going to start looking into that in a few years. But maybe those are some things we can look at. So to help you all out, because I know that program that you guys do with the real world application seems to be pretty successful at y'all do every year. So.
In thinking in terms of internship, I could see various areas within the city, and I'm talking about the government of the city, that could entice young people that are interested in accounting, engineering, sports. Someone could be involved in our Parks and Rec. I could see that the city could join with Burville School District and give the young people a chance to know what they want to do, to see if they really like that. Because I will tell you, when I went to college, I had no idea what I was really good at. And I find it hard that someone at 18 years old is going to go spend the amount of money that you will spend going to college and knowing exactly what you're good at. So I would encourage, and that is just something I would throw out on both ends, Burville School District and our city, to consider doing different types of scholarships that encompasses each area to give these young people a chance to know what their city's about as well, so that hopefully they'll become these people serving in different areas within our city. Thank you.
Our next question also goes to all the candidates. We will begin this time with place 4, Eric Morris. The question is, what do you believe are some of the issues that are most pressing in Haltom City?
I think one of the big things is infrastructure is a big issue. Obviously, we've been talking, like we discussed earlier, the city hall, that's a big problem. I think that's the last major city facility we really need to get up to date. Roads are a big issue, that's being worked on too. We've got, obviously we're trying to get a more wider variety of businesses in our city. That's a big struggle as well. That's going to be some of my biggest priorities on council, is just attracting those businesses. I think we're doing really good so far with the proposed TERS that we have in place. We're doing really good trying to get this city hall in. I think when that city hall comes in and that TERS really starts to take effect, we start to notice the effects of that. I think a lot of the concerns our citizens have in that avenue is going to really come to fruition. It's going to, the fruits of our labor is really going to show at that point. So I think those are the big concerns, and that's going to be some of my biggest priorities for when I'm on council.
What do you believe are some of the issues that are most pressing in Haltom City?
That's a tough question. I think that the most issues that are pressing in Haltom City is simply communication and understanding between probably staff, council, and citizens. The hot topic, if you listen to people, is grocery store. But the realization is we all have to understand as a community, the world has changed in the way that we shop. And the things that we're used to having that were very convenient for us aren't that convenient anymore. And I think that we all need to come to an understanding with that. I think that if you drive through our city, if this bond passes and you drive through the city to get to this new city hall, you're driving through a place that needs more help. The streets aren't going to be improved. The streets won't be improved. The looks of the buildings won't be improved. And it's really going to take everybody, every homeowner, every business owner, everybody's going to do their part to just keep their piece of the world clean. Your property, business, or home, make it look nice. And I think that we all as a community, we just need to try and understand that. The world has changed and we've got to adapt with it, and we need open communication so that we can share ideas and thoughts on how to adapt with the changing world. So to me, that's a problem or a major thing in our city that we just need to address.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again, please?
What do you believe are some of the issues that are most pressing in Haltom City?
Okay, thank you. I have been block walking, and recently I have heard the same thing, that people want a grocery store. But surprisingly, I've heard a lot of people that have an appreciation for the green space in our city. Not that that's an issue,
but I think our city does a good job with green space and keeping our parks nice and everything. There is a problem with getting a grocery store in here. Our city manager has worked very hard trying to get a grocery store here. A lot of the grocery store companies have their plans laid out for years and years, and they don't want to lease property anymore. They want to own it. So that's a hard one for us to try to tackle, even though we've been working very hard with that. There are some parts of our city that definitely need revitalization, which we have a plan, a future plan to do. So, you know, as far, and roads are always gonna need repair. You know, as soon as you get these done, these over here need to be done. So we have a plan in place for that as well. So I don't know of any issue that we are not currently working. But those are good points, and they are issues, but we are currently working very hard on those. Thank you.
I think a different perspective I'll spin on this is competition. You're always competing against other cities around you to land those remaining brick and mortars that want to come into you. Things of that nature. Like people have said, people have changed the way they shop. How many people in the last month have purchased something on Amazon and had it shipped to your door? E-commerce is here. We have to continue to compete to get what the residents are wanting us to get. And we do everything we can tooth and nail to make sure we provide what people are requesting. Roads will always be a factor. That's what I do for a living. You're constantly turning millions and millions and millions, and every year you're doing more and more and more. And you're always constantly working on that. You can't do the whole smash at one time. It's not possible. I work in a place, $100 million. That'll take that $100 million, it takes almost 8 years to get that completed through design and section. So I think one of the biggest things is we are competing. We have to continue to compete to get what y'all want. And I think that's what we're doing. So hopefully people will vote for us because they think we're doing that. So that's what we hope. So appreciate it.
I think the main problem that we have is figuring out how our tax dollars leave the city and how we can maintain those 24 hours a day. That we have the influx during the day of the people that work, and we have the influx at night for the people that live here, that they want to go to our restaurants, they want to go shopping in our city. And through that, we are working on the TERS, which will be a huge incentive for Highway 377 south of 820 down to Belknap, and from Belknap to Beach. These are all areas that will be involved in the TERS. Now, will you see it in 6 months or a year? No. Do you know that High Point was in the TERS district originally for probably 6 to 7 years before it ever formulated and became effective? And you see that the homes have been built very quickly. And so that is the same thing that we can anticipate when the TERS takes off. It'll be going through, and you will see more of the sales tax relief to help you with your property tax to be lowered.
I find that question really hard, but as a resident, I've been only here about, it went in now. I've been here about a year and 5 months, going on a year and a half already. And so what I dealt with as a citizen is crime. There are hot pockets everywhere, and I had to deal with it. I live on Starlight. I dealt with that for over a year to try to resolve it. And it was tough. It was tough. I was having anxiety, and I pushed it through. And it finally, I prayed, and we gathered together as a neighbor, as with city council. I talked to some of the city councils, and I thank y'all for whoever supported me and stood by me, because it was very stressful in dealing with that. To come to find out that I don't think people realize that it is a problem in variety of hot pockets, but it becomes very, very stressful to the neighbors, and it's just neighbors don't want to come out. Neighbors do not want to get to know you, and that also factors in more crime in there. And so just loving your neighbor and getting to know your neighbor is a vital communication in that part.
All right, our next question will be, what separates you from other candidates for your position? And we'll be starting with Mr. Charlie Roberts.
Thank you. What separates me, I don't know, maybe a vision. Some people talk about inclusion and diversity in different aspects. And to me, diversity means, how do we choose to live? How do we like our properties to look? And what I mean by that is, the older part of Haltom City is larger lots with smaller houses. They've got a set of needs for the way they choose to live, and the type of property they choose to have. The newer housing additions are giant houses with little lots, and they've got a different set of needs for that part of the community. So to me, I see like, we are one community, yet there's different aspects of it. And I think that I'd like to be able to see how we can make both pieces happen. So for example, back to the grocery store. The thought is, and I've talked with HEB myself, not as a candidate, not as a councilman, but as a citizen, okay, because I have no authority. And I've got up several layers of people, and they want rooftops. That's what they want, rooftops. Well, unless we bulldoze all of the older part of Haltom and take those big lots and put multiple houses on them, we're never gonna have rooftops in that part of town. And I think that we need to kind of realize that as a community. And my vision is just like that. I like to see the whole community and the different aspects of the whole community and how people are different. Some people like outdoor things, so they've got a travel trailer. Some people don't.
I separate myself because I'm the best looking. That's a joke. And I provide some liberty. I think I have a certain skill set with what I've done. I started out with my dad on a shovel, burying pipe. Thought being the boss's kid, I was going to be the big dog walking in there. Oh boy, did I get knocked on a couple of runs. Came up that way, blue collar. Slowly worked myself up, and my dad finally told me that at least I had the mind for construction, for numbers, for doing that math, that by the way, the math you say when you were a kid you never used, trust me, you use it every day in what I do. Geometry, algebra. I've also had the opportunity to, where I work, because people believed in me, because I worked hard for it, to let me get into community development also. And that's given me an insight with working with the city manager and economic development and seeing that what we are doing works there too. Bigger cities, same toolbox, same tool. Ratchet's a ratchet, a hammer's a hammer. We build it the same way. The dynamics are a little different, but I think I offer that skill set. I hope to continue to be able to offer that skill set should the folks, vote for me. So that's the answer I got.
My offerings to the community is the fact that I have worked very hard within this city. I have served on various boards and commissions throughout the years. I'm educated. I have a college degree. I also have been a bank vice president and was on the board of directors. I have worked and maintained a credible career along with my husband. I have thrown myself into this city. As I have lived here, I have thought how important it is to get to know the people within the community and serve them. I've never asked for anything. I've always volunteered. This serving on council, I have served since November of 2017, and I have done it with honor, and it has been a sincere privilege. I currently am a mayor pro tem for a second term, and I have represented you at different meetings when our mayor could not be present. So I feel that it is important to know the background, and you can see that on my flyer. So, thank you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Question is, what separates you from the other candidates for your position?
That's a little tough, I think, because we all have a heart of serving. But my separation would be just, I'm a doer. I tackle something and I don't stop till I succeed. I've proven it many times where, not just within, we had a drug house two doors down. And so not even just with that, but with multitasking in beautification and picking up trash. So when I arrived in Haltom, I really was challenged. I was put to the test right away. I had trash all over the place. I had homeless running around on my street. I live on Starlight. There's a lot of traffic. There's the car wash. There's kids, a daycare there too. So I have businesses right beside me. So I don't just have neighbors. I have business neighbors as well. And right across the street is all my also friends with businesses that I help out with the line store. The Joseph Storehouse is my volunteer where I work. And so with all that, and anybody, if you can ask anybody, they don't really have to tell you anything. They just ask for my name and they'll let you know.
I think with this question, place for this particular race, I think is very, very important, more so than any of the other seats up here. I obviously provide a very unique background and a unique perspective, being who I am, but one of the biggest things I think that differentiates me and my opponent is we are ideologically very different when it comes to city issues and the way that we view the city and how we want it to be run. It's two very different schools of thought. I believe my ideology is more progress-based and getting us towards where we need to be. That's my belief. And I think that's the question that voters have to ask themselves when they go vote is, okay, we have two very different schools of thought. Which philosophy do you want to subscribe to? And that's the biggest difference, I'd say.
I'm going to have you repeat the question again.
Yes, no problem. What separates you from the other candidates for your position?
Well, I think I'd have to say my background. I retired from federal service, Department of Defense, as a GS-13 Quality Assurance Supervisor. And in that position, I had many hours of management training. I also got my Bachelor of Science degree in management. I think those skills that I bring to the table as far as organization and the management skills and the people skills that I bring to the table separates me a little bit from my other candidates. Thank you.
Next question goes to all the candidates as well, and it's, do you believe we need additional automotive businesses and junkyards? And we're actually going to begin place 5, Ms. Susan Sewell.
Repeat the question one more time.
Do you believe we need additional automotive businesses and junkyards?
Wow, okay. I absolutely do not. We have more automotive businesses and the like than any of our surrounding cities. I want to say when we did a workshop on that, it was presented that we had 250-something automotive businesses, whereas the surrounding cities had in the 30s. I mean, I may not remember this exactly right, but it was very significantly different. And I have nothing against automotive businesses because we use a couple of them here in Haltom City. I have nothing against them. It's just that we would like to invite other businesses. And if we take up all of our space with the automotive businesses, then we have no room for the desired businesses that people are wanting, like restaurants and retail and things like that. So yeah, I absolutely do not want any additional automotive businesses in our city. Thank you.
Most of the people that we've spoke to that are residents, you the voters, no, they don't want any more. They want to see things change a little bit. Yeah, we've got a lot of them, plenty of them, and it's not that we don't like them. Trust me, I don't judge the guy that's wrenching for a living. I'm glad we have them here. But we can't keep adding them, we've got to diversify. It's not always a popular opinion, but that's what being a councilman is. You gotta answer that question. And as long as I can put it, no more.
I also join in on Susan Zoll and Kyle Smith. No, we do not need more automotive services. It is a necessity, I understand that. The thing is, when we have people that are driving around and they're trying to find a place to live or a place to work, when they immediately drop down, they see on every other block an automotive service. And that is a deterrent. They figure, I don't want to live in a community, and they're thinking that it's more commercial than residential or the potential. So, and I think it also diverts attention with our retail and commercial services. A restaurant's not going to be able to go in beside an automotive service due to the noise, that kind of thing. So, as much as it is, no is the answer. Thank you.
I don't believe that, just for what I've been door knocking, that citizens want that. But I think we need to be creative and neighborly and love people for what they are and what they have right now, and just kind of share ideas with them, maybe offer on the long run grants if they want to turn it into something else. I've seen automotives turn into shops. Anything, I mean, I necessarily don't want to be negative about it. I don't oppose it just because the citizens have voiced their opinion already. But.
So here's one big problem that we have with automotive uses. Let me make it very clear, my stance is, and I think most people up here's stance is, we want all current businesses in Haltom City to be successful and to stay here. So that's the first point. Secondly, I don't think we really have a choice, because you need to consider this, okay? I challenge all of y'all here to go on the internet, pull up for Tesla, the manufacturer's recommended maintenance for the vehicle. And if you drive a gas-powered car, I want you to compare that to your owner's manual for recommended maintenance. One of the things you're gonna notice is that Teslas and electric vehicles do not require as much or as frequent maintenance as a conventional gas-powered car does. So it's a mathematical certainty that electric vehicles are going to dominate the market, and they're becoming more reliable. So the problem is, when that happens, whenever they take over the market, what's gonna happen to the current auto uses that don't have as many customers who come as frequently? Some are gonna start to close down. And when that sales tax revenue that they did provide goes away, who's gonna foot the bill for that loss? You are. They're gonna have to raise a government rent on you. That's what they're gonna have to do. You're gonna be paying for it. So we need to act now. Future developments, future businesses, diversify, get more retail, restaurants, that sort of thing. And we need to adjust to the market, because this is the market trend right now. So we need to prepare for this.
Thank you. I spent 27 years as a technician in the car dealerships. I currently am an instructor for Chrysler, Fiat, Stellantis Automobile Group. And the technology is changing. And what my opponent said about maintenance schedules is absolutely true. But there are other parts of the electric car that is going to need repair also. The powertrain of the electric car is one thing. The wipers, the washers, the brakes, that's other components of owning and repairing a vehicle. We applaud ourselves as a city for getting all these, supposedly 5,000 more people, citizens in. But there's a couple that's 10,000 more cars into the city. And I think that the decision about automobile shops or not automobile shops should be logical and not emotional. For example, logical should be about the tax base that they bring. Haltom Quick Lube, $427,400 is their tax. That's their market value. Texas Tire on Denton Highway, $861,000. Meineke, $788,000. Compare that to Brahms, $542,000. Or the Roller World, $550,000. Those guys pay taxes too. And we shouldn't just discriminate against all businesses. That's why I voted against that ordinance, because what that ordinance did was kill all automotive businesses, not just the ones you don't like the looks of. It killed all of them, put them into the industrial area. So I think that we should be selective with who we put in, but not kill them all.
All right, this will be our last question, and it's appraisals are at record highs for Haltom City residents. If elected, what would you do to help offset the appraisal value? And we'll be starting with place 6, Mr. Kyle Smith.
And it would begin at the end. Right. We were able to drop property tax rate this year to 2 cents. Yeah. I don't like TAD. I think it's the same as most people in here. Keep in mind too, on this ballot, you've got a homestead exemption that you can vote on to help us out here. The city gets out of every dollar roughly around 22, 23 cents. It's a continuation that if we continue to bring in our sales tax and our growth, we continue to offset where we can keep lowering the tax rate to y'all, our portion of it. That's what our objective is, that's what we're trying to do. It's getting more expensive in North Texas. It's getting crazy. And trust us, that's the very first thing that's always asked. And those are the simple things we can do to continue the sales tax coming in to try and offset that we don't have to be as dependent on the property tax for our city, for our revenues. We don't want to do that. So we feel your pain. I'm a homeowner, definitely. So I think those are some of the things that we're working towards to try and help everybody out. So, thanks.
Yes, Mr. Smith is absolutely correct. What we will try to do and what we have accomplished this last time is that we did lower your property tax rate for our city. However, with the other entities and with evaluations going up, your home is your largest investment, probably besides a vehicle. And we cannot, as a city, control the evaluations. That is done through Tarrant County Appraisal District. So, it makes it very difficult between that and the school district for us to affect you as much as what we would love to. We do not have those controls. And so I would encourage people to become more involved with the appraisal district and your school district. Request some type of compensation or maybe lowering of the evaluations. It's just really a difficult time, but just know that whatever decisions are made is a very difficult one for us and one that we want to help you, and we will continue to try to lower the taxes as much as we can.
Well, as a homeowner, I know it's challenging, and I'm not gonna pretend here that I know anything about tax rates or budget or anything, but I would like to work, evidently work throughout and seeing if we can accomplish something. And it's challenging just because the house market, it's no one. We would all like it to go down, but no one foresees that. But I think we need to do more research on it and be vigilant of what others are doing. I know it's challenging for every city. As a homeowner, it just puzzles me how it's stagnant, that we can't accomplish much. But that's my feel on that.
So it's just like some of these other candidates have said, there's a lot of aspects that the city doesn't control. We only control the city aspect of property taxes, and we don't control valuations. But I think the biggest saving grace for all of us in this issue is going to be it goes back to getting new businesses, a wide diversity of businesses that produce more sales tax revenue. That's going to be our saving grace, because at the end of the day, the number one most proven method of getting property taxes down is by increasing sales tax revenue, getting more of retail and restaurants that produce sales tax revenue. That is the most successful method by far. So that's what we need to really be focusing on, because I think if we get that sales tax revenue high enough, if it keeps going up like how it has been over the past few years or so, I think that's going to show the most results on your property tax bill from the city's perspective. That's going to be the best method by far. So that needs to be our number one focus when it comes to property taxes.
Thank you. Yeah, property taxes. So I'll use my house as an example. 2017, appraised for 113, 2022, 219, 94% increase in property tax values. That is nothing the city has control over. What that has done for the city though, from 2018 to 2019 in that budget, $852,000 increase over the previous year, 732 increase over that 850,000 the next year, 719,000 on top of those two. So the city is getting a lot more income. My biggest concern would be, where are we applying that at? How can we as a council help to spend the increased revenue that the city is getting in the places where we need it the most? And that would be my goal, as your council person, is let's look at that. We talk about sales tax revenue. Just since January, I went through and looked at the certificates of occupancy. 38 of them were for office and warehouse. There's no retail sales in that. There were 4 for cafeterias, restaurant type things. There was a total of, I think, 6 for automotive related things. So we're not, at this point, we're not doing enough as a city to get the retail in that we want, the restaurants and such as that. Those same 5,000 people who are coming in here with 2 cars possibly to be serviced. They're also coming in here with, and would like some places for entertainment, they'd like some places to eat. And I would just like to see us use that increased tax revenue to get those things coming in faster.
Well, the advantage of being last is most of it's all been said. I can refer to what Lynn said about the valuations on our properties. We don't have a lot of control over that. There is an option each resident has, or each homeowner has, to go in and challenge that valuation on your properties. That's one thing that you can do. And regarding that tax revenue we received, much of that did go back into the city, if I remember correctly. So I don't, as far as the valuations on our homes, I don't know how much we can do. The value is constantly going up. There are bidding wars on every house that's put on the market above the asking price. So I don't know that there is a resolution at this point in time for the valuation of your property and the taxes. But as Mr. Morris stated, if we get the new businesses that will produce more sales tax for our city, we can try to maintain or even continue to lower our tax rate. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, candidates. We will now begin our 2-minute closing, starting back at place 3 with Ms. Lynn Thompson.
One thing I want you to think about. Our city pays for every piece of equipment and every employee, just like Fort Worth, Dallas, San Antonio. We get the same pricing on equipment and materials. So it's something to consider when we also have been running very lean with employees. We've had employees that are working 2 and 3 jobs. We did not terminate or even lay anyone off during COVID. All our employees were able to work, whether at home or within the city. We've been very fortunate, and the most important thing, and the reason I'm bringing out the employees, is they're the ones that serve you. They're the ones that come out when you have a water leak or a problem with sewer. They're the ones when you have a medical call, that fire department is there to help you. If there's an accident, the police department is there. They're professionals, and we have to be competitive to keep these people within our city. So when we base decisions, it's going to be based on the service to you and what we're willing to make concessions. So if you want to lower your taxes and you are willing to give up services, yes, we can do that. But then who's going to serve you? Who's going to protect you? Who's going to be there when you need them? So I just say, you must think in terms of what decision-making processes we have to consider.
I'm sorry, I'm new to this. So the closing, is there a question or is it pretty much?
It's just our closing statement for 2
Okay,
minutes.
awesome. But I just want to thank you guys, ladies, again, and everybody that put this together. This is awesome. And everybody out there, it's an honor for it to be my first one. And I just want to inspire you to be more active in your community. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, working all day or half a day. It could be just knowing your neighbor. Go get that contact information, get to know your surroundings of what's going on. And once that starts, you'll get to the little ripple effect that you want to, dwell in more. We need, there's so much dire need in the community, whether it's voter registration, picking up trash, crime, businesses. Businesses want your support as well. They're in dire need. They're, in waves up and down, especially through COVID. I think some of them that I've talked to, they're blessed that they didn't go out of business, and it's because of your support. We serve you, and you serve us. We serve each other, and that's why we're in this world. God put us to be, love one another and help one another. And so my spill of it is always change starts with me. Thank you.
There's a universal theme right now with this city, and I think it is that this is the best time to live in Haltom City. And I think that it's gonna be that way no matter how any of these races turn out. It really is the best time to be part of the city. I mean, we've seen a lot of the new exciting developments like High Point and Heritage Village and the new police station that's coming in. It is the best time to be part of the city. And what I want all of y'all to understand is there's different ways of running the city. There's different schools of thought. So I encourage you all to consider the outcome of each philosophy with this city. And what I also ask is, if I have not reached out to any of y'all in this room yet, please let me know. I want to get a chance to talk with you before the election comes up, have a conversation with you, and talk about the issues that matters to you the most. So I encourage you to please vote for me on May 7th. And again, if I haven't gotten a hold of you yet, come talk to me before I leave. I want to get a chance to talk with you. Thank you.
There is a different philosophy between me and my opponent in this race. And the different philosophy is, I'm my own person. I'm not beholden to any political action committee or anybody else for what I say or the decisions that I make. I've got a website that is very open and honest. And I don't think anybody can say that I won't stand there and tell you, to eye to eye the things that I think. So that's just very different. I will challenge city leadership and the rest of my council members to do things for our community. Every statement that I make, every vote I vote is for the benefit of the community as a whole. I heard one time somebody say that a rising tide floats all boats. I've heard it from several people. That's not true if that boat has a hole in it. And the way I see it, the central and southern part of our city needs the most help. And to me, keeping that from turning into what we would describe as an inner city, we need to get that part of the city fixed. If we're gonna invest money, that's where we need to invest money at, in that part of the city. So I ask for your support in this election to put me back on place 4, and I will keep fighting for you guys. Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you all for coming. Haltom City is a great place. I've lived here for 22 years, and I will probably continue to live here until I die. So I want to see the city I want us to keep up the momentum. So please vote your council members in that want to keep moving forward with momentum that we have already created in the council before us. Let's not let that die. So please vote yes for the bond for the new city hall so that we can attract new businesses that will bring us sales tax into our city, that we can reinvest in the city and lower our taxes, continue to lower our taxes. Thank you.
Pretty much everybody that I've seen here, probably 98% of the people in the audience I've had conversations with. It's been a true privilege the last, I don't know, Charlie, we're in that COVID year, so we didn't really get the full 2, but
18 months.
give or take. So there you go. It was odd when we first did it because all our council meetings were virtual and things like that. Regardless of our opinions, we have to treat each other like family. I know people beat that to death, but no matter 2 years, if I don't make it past May 7th, it'll be the next person in here, and we're leaving it for the next ones that come before us. We've got former councilman Janine Nunn and Ricky and Walter Groh and others that their decisions, you hope, set that path the next 2, 6, 10 years. Trey, sorry Trey, I saw you back there, bud. So, we just, I hope I can continue to do this. I really love it. Hopefully that if you ever need to, if your trash is running 30 minutes late, just give them time, they'll be there eventually. So somebody will get that joke. So I just really appreciate it. I would like to continue to do this for you guys, and I hope I get that opportunity. Thanks.
And that concludes our forum tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming. We appreciate y'all, and we'll be awaiting the results.